Sunday night dread, Monday morning anxiety. The constant knot in your stomach every time you open your work email. You tell yourself it's normal, that everyone feels this way, that this is just what having a job means. But Ibn Arabi discovered that what you're calling normal is actually your body screaming that something is fundamentally wrong. There's a difference between work being challenging and work being destructive. Challenge pushes you to grow. Destruction slowly erodes who you are until nothing remains but exhaustion and resentment. Most people can't tell the difference anymore because toxic work culture has convinced them that suffering for your career is noble, that burnout is ambition, that sacrificing your well-being is dedication. Ibn Arabi spent years observing people in various professions, watching how their work affected not just their time, but their entire sense of self. He noticed that some people's work energized them, even when it was difficult, while others were being slowly drained by jobs that looked successful from the outside, but were destroying them from the inside. The destruction doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, almost imperceptible. First, you start checking emails outside work hours, just to stay on top of things. Then you're thinking about work during dinner, during weekends, during vacations. Your mind never fully disconnects. Sleep becomes difficult because you're mentally rehearsing tomorrow's meetings or worrying about projects. Your body starts sending signals, headaches that won't go away, stomach problems that doctors can't explain, constant fatigue that no amount of sleep fixes, anxiety that spikes every time your phone buzzes with a work notification. But you ignore these signals because you've been taught that this is just part of being a professional, being responsible, being successful. Ibn Arabi discovered that these physical symptoms aren't random. They're your body's way of telling you that your nervous system is in constant crisis mode. When your workplace creates an environment of perpetual stress, uncertainty, or emotional unsafety, your body responds as if you're under constant threat. And technically, you are. The threat isn't physical danger. It's psychological. It's the manager who undermines you in meetings, the impossible deadlines that set you up to fail, a culture that punishes boundaries and rewards overwork, the constant fear that one mistake could cost you everything. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a physical threat and a psychological one. It responds to both with the same stress hormones, the same fight or flight activation. When this activation becomes chronic, when there's no real rest or recovery, your mental health deteriorates. Not because you're weak or can't handle pressure, but because human nervous systems aren't designed for constant threat. They're designed for acute stress, followed by recovery. Modern toxic workplaces provide the stress, but eliminate the recovery. Ibn Arabi identified specific patterns that indicate a workplace is destroying rather than challenging you. First, you can't disconnect. If thinking about work dominates your non-work time, if you can't enjoy evenings or weekends without work anxiety intruding, that's not dedication. That's a sign that your workplace has colonized your entire mental space. Second, your self-worth has become entirely dependent on work performance. When a project goes well, you feel worthy. When something goes wrong, you feel worthless. Your identity has merged with your job title to the point where you can't remember who you are outside of work. Ibn Arabi called this the loss of self to career, and he saw it destroy countless people who achieved great professional success at the cost of everything else. Third, you're constantly exhausted, but can't rest. You're tired all the time, but when you have time off, you can't actually relax. You're physically present, but mentally still at work. You've lost the ability to be fully present anywhere because work has become a background hum that never turns off. Fourth, your relationships are suffering. You're irritable with loved ones. You have no energy for friends. Your entire life has shrunk to work and recovery from work, with nothing left over for the relationships and activities that actually nourish you. You tell yourself you're working hard for your family, but you're too drained to be present with them. Fifth, you've lost interest in things you used to enjoy. Hobbies feel like obligations. Activities that once brought joy now feel like more items on an endless to-do list. You can't remember the last time you did something purely because it brought you pleasure rather than because it was productive or necessary. Ibn Arabi observed that people in this state often don't recognize how bad things have gotten because the decline is so gradual. They normalize each new level of dysfunction, telling themselves that everyone deals with this, that this is just adult life. That complaining would be ungrateful when so many people don't even have jobs. But here's what Ibn Arabi understood. There's a profound difference between difficult work and destructive work. Difficult work challenges your skills, stretches your capacities, and leaves you tired but satisfied. Destructive work demands more than you can sustainably give, punishes you for having boundaries, and leaves you depleted, anxious, and resentful. The key question isn't, is my work hard? It's, is my work making me more of who I want to be or less? If your job is gradually turning you into someone you don't recognize, someone who's constantly anxious, irritable, exhausted, and disconnected from what matters most, then your workplace isn't just difficult. It's destructive. Many people stay in destructive workplaces for years, even decades, because they've been convinced they don't have options. They need the money. They've invested so much already. Leaving would mean starting over. What would people think? These concerns are real, but Ibn Arabi asked a more fundamental question. What's the cost of staying? The cost isn't just current misery. It's the cumulative damage to your mental and physical health, to your relationships, to your sense of self. It's the years of your life spent in survival mode rather than actually living. It's becoming someone you never wanted in service of a career that doesn't actually serve you. Ibn Arabi taught that recognizing this reality requires brutal honesty. You have to stop making excuses for your workplace and start acknowledging its actual impact on you. This doesn't mean you immediately quit, but it does mean you stop pretending that what's happening is acceptable or sustainable. Start by noticing your body's responses. Does your chest tighten when you think about work? Does your stomach hurt on Sunday evenings? Do you feel relief or dread when Monday approaches? Your body is giving you constant feedback about whether your workplace is safe or threatening. Listen to it. Next, examine your relationships. Are you present with the people you love? Can you engage with them without work invading your thoughts? Do you have energy left for connection, or are you running on empty? If your job is taking so much that you have nothing left for the people who actually matter, something needs to change. Also, look at your values. What did you think your career would give you? Meaning, creativity, contribution, financial security, respect? Are you actually receiving those things? Or are you sacrificing everything for a promise that keeps moving further away? Many people stay in soul-crushing jobs, chasing goals that, even when achieved, don't deliver the fulfillment they expected. Ibn Arabi believed that no career is worth destroying yourself for. Not because work doesn't matter, but because you matter more than any job. Your mental health, your relationships, your sense of self, these aren't luxuries you sacrifice for career success. They're the foundation of a life worth living. If your workplace is toxic, you have options, though they might not be easy. You can set firmer boundaries, even if it means being seen as less committed. You can start looking for other opportunities, even if it takes time. You can reduce your expenses, so you're less financially dependent on a job that's destroying you. You can seek professional support to process the damage and plan your next steps. What you can't do is continue pretending this is sustainable. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a warning sign that you're operating in a way that will eventually break you. And when you break, your career won't save you. The workplace that demanded everything from you won't take care of you when you can't give anymore. Ibn Arabi saw this pattern repeatedly. People who sacrificed their well-being for their careers, who gave everything to jobs that gave nothing back, who believed that if they just worked hard enough, things would eventually get better. And then one day, their bodies said no. Panic attacks that made work impossible. Depression so severe they couldn't get out of bed. Physical illnesses that forced them to stop. Your body will eventually force you to rest, either through conscious choice, now, or through collapse later. The question is whether you'll listen to the early warnings, or wait until the system completely shuts down. This doesn't mean work should always be easy or pleasant. Meaningful work involves challenge, difficulty, sometimes stress. But there's a crucial difference between the stress that comes from engaging with meaningful challenges and the stress that comes from a toxic environment that treats people as disposable resources. Ibn Arabi taught that you deserve work that doesn't require you to abandon yourself, work that challenges you without destroying you, work that respects your humanity rather than treating you as a machine. This isn't naive idealism. It's basic respect for the fact that you're a human being with limits, needs, and a life beyond your job description. If you're in a workplace that's destroying your mental health, know that you're not weak for struggling. You're not ungrateful for recognizing that something is wrong. You're not being dramatic for acknowledging that this isn't sustainable. You're being honest about a reality that many people are too afraid or too conditioned to see. The path forward starts with that honesty. Stop minimizing what's happening. Stop comparing your suffering to others who have it worse. Stop telling yourself that this is just what work is supposed to be. Your Sunday night dread is real. Your Monday morning anxiety is valid. Your body's signals are accurate. And then start making different choices. Maybe that means setting boundaries you've been avoiding. Maybe it means having difficult conversations with management. Maybe it means updating your resume and exploring other options. Maybe it means reducing your lifestyle so you're less trapped by financial pressure. Whatever it means for you. The first step is acknowledging that your workplace's demands are not more important than your mental health. Your career is not more valuable than your well-being. Success that costs you yourself isn't success at all. Ibn Arabi believed that life is too short to spend it in environments that diminish you. Not every workplace will be perfect, but you deserve one that doesn't systematically destroy your peace, your health, and your sense of self. That's not asking too much. That's asking for the bare minimum of what work should provide, a way to support yourself without losing yourself in the process.